Hello guys, it's me, Greed here. Yesterday, the 6v6 competitive mode dropped, and let me very quickly preface something in case I title this or thumbnail this aggressively negatively. This game mode is great. I love this game mode. The devs did a fantastic job implementing a 6v6 competitive mode. It's what I've wanted the entirety of Overwatch 2. I now have it. I cannot complain, regardless of the state that it's in. This is a huge W for Blizzard, and I love that they did this. However, it does have its problems. Mainly being that the people balancing it don't actually understand this game at all. Actually, at all. So, let's just address something, right? Back in Overwatch 1, towards the end of it, Overwatch 2, or the devs, announced that it would be 5 versus 5. Then we were all like, this is going to be ass, and then it came out, and we tried it, and it was ass. And a big problem with earlier on in Overwatch 2 is that a lot of support players did not know how to play support properly. Overwatch 2 supporting required more damage, more aggression, more angle taking, and heal botting wasn't as effective. So support was actually not as bad as people were making it out to be, but it was certainly on the weaker side of the start of the game for sure. Then, because of the fact that it was 5v5 and there was no longer an off tank to help facilitate peel for the supports, they had to make it so that the supports were able to survive more on their own, were able to sustain themselves in angles and so on, and were able to actually take duels and potentially win those duels. For example, back in Overwatch 1, a Tracer could very confidently 1v1 basically any of the supports in the game, barring like Brig, obviously. But then when 5v5 dropped and Tracer could still do that, it meant that it was a lot easier for a Tracer to get a kill because obviously there was no off-tank to peel. So they buffed the supports, like I said, and that made it so that they were able to actually survive in their duels and so on for a lot longer, and it made playing DPS really awful because you could no longer do the main thing, which is support hunting, right? And then, over time, they kept that idea and that philosophy where the supports had to be very strong on their own in order to survive the fact that they don't have an off-tank. It made sense on paper, but it made the gameplay a lot worse. Then, the 6v6 patch released. And, well, it's 6v6, so that means you're gonna get another off-tank, right? You're gonna have another one. And because you have another off-tank, that means that the backline has more peel, because there's another tank. So you can maintain a front line with one tank and peel with another tank. But then the supports didn't get nerfed, so they were still 5v5 supports, where they're able to take duels and hold angles and be able to take 1v1 with DPS and so on. They kept that ability, but they got an off-tank to peel for them at the same time. And if you're following, you're probably very quickly realizing, oh shit, the backline is completely unkillable against competent teams. And already the meta of what the 6v6 meta is going to be is showing. Now, I can't predict it perfectly, but it's likely going to be some kind of triple support comp with a burst damage hit scan and 2 tanks. Likely. It may change. Another thing they did was when they released it in open queue format, but with a maximum of 2 tanks. So you could pick 6 DPS or 5 supports, but you couldn't pick 3 tanks. You can only pick 2. And the thing about this that confuses me is, realistically, it should have been that you couldn't pick more than 2 supports. Because supports are the problem. They are the sustain, right? The reason we were able to have triple tank comps was because you could have triple support comps, right? Because then you would get the sustain. Now, obviously, quad tank early in Overwatch 1 when Ananade was broken, fair enough, but we don't have that anymore. So now, playing this mode, it's, again, infinitely better than 5v5. I cannot say that enough. This is so... I will not be playing a single game of 5v5 while this is out. It's so much better. However, it does have its problems in the fact that the backline is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Another problem is that all of the tanks are still 5v5 tanks. This does not feel like I'm playing 6v6. this feels like I'm playing 5+1 versus 5+1, right? It doesn't feel like I'm playing 6v6. The actual ebb and flow of 6v6 does not exist. We are just playing 5v5 with an extra tank because they don't know how to balance the game, which obviously sucks, because a big issue is all of the tanks are still super tanks, right? I'm pretty sure they've had all their health dropped, but their actual mechanics of how they work are the same. Zarya can still bubble herself twice, I almost certainly believe. Reinhardt still has double fire strike and all of his charge controls. Ram is still like borderline unkillable with a trillion HP, right? Like Diva and Monkey are still have like fucking ridiculous amounts of damage output and health. It just, we are not playing in actual iteration of 6v6 here. We're just playing 5v5 with 2 extra players involved, which is really lame. And this is where I'm going to complain about the balance, right? I think releasing this patch with quite literally 0 actual character changes, only perk changes, is fucking ridiculous. Also, the fact that all of the 5v5 heroes are in the 6v6 queue, they're not different, you know what I mean? Like, the Genji plays the exact same way in 5v5 as he does 6v6. Stats are the same, you know what I mean? Stats are the same, cooldowns are the same, everything's the same. Nothing changed. Right, same thing with like Reinhardt. The only thing different is that he's got lower health. That's not 6v6, right? That's not what that is. The tanks are still super, the supports are still super, the majority of the DPS are fucking useless, especially the projectile ones. Really, the only viable DPS right now are the projectile, or sorry, not the projectile, sorry. The burst damage hit scan ones. The projectiles are really quite terrible. The people have been raving about the Genji buffs. Genji is fucking dog shit, okay? Don't let OWCS lie to you because he's getting playtime. Genji's getting playtime in pro play because he has the dash melee combo, which is 90 damage, which really helps to burn people down in the dive when you've got a tank like a Ball or a Monkey or a Hazard that can get on a target really easily and control an angle. Genji's literally only getting played because he can force hit skins out of angles. That's literally the only reason. But people are going to argue with you and say, no, he's really broken because he duels me all the time. He's probably one of the worst dueling heroes in the entire game. Most of the supports are genuinely better at taking duels than Genji is. But now that we're past that, back to 6v6. This could have been so simple. Genuinely, this could have been so simple. And people were saying, by the way, oh, Greed, oh, you're such a doomer, you're so negative and so fucking dumb. The devs would never sabotage 6v6. Why would they do that? And then 6v6 released and they're like, okay, it's a little bit sabotaged. It's a little bit. But Greed, you're such a doomer. And then this patch released, oh, yeah, you were actually right. This shit is completely sabotaged. There was 0 fucking effort put into actually trying to fix this. Genuinely, this is so bad. How do you go? Okay, and the transition to 5v5, the fucking supports are just gonna get destroyed because you don't have enough time to peel for them. Buff the supports, and then when you go back to 6v6, you don't think, maybe those super supports that are unkillable in the dive, and we made them that way so that because there was no off time, maybe we should change them back, and they're like, nah, let's not. So now Kiriko is so fucking retarded and just goes in your backline and just duels you all day, and it's borderline completely invincible still. And even the worst part is, now she gets a defense matrix and bubbles while she's doing it at the same time. It's just so stupid, right? Like a Sojourn just gets to control an angle. She'll get bubbled, she'll get DM'd, she'll get a Suzu, she'll get an MO, she'll get a life grip. It's just so much sustain and so much mitigation. Genuinely, I made a video a long time ago going over like how double shield never left. And the concept of double shield was it was a mass sustain comp that made it so that burst damage was the only viable way to play the game. Notice how that's been the trend since it existed 6 years ago. It's been 6 fucking years where we've been in the same trend where burst damage is the only viable way to kill literally anything in this game because everything is mass sustain. So we've still got tons of like AoE healing, tons of sustain, ridiculous amounts of burst damage, immortalities, all this dog shit. And now we're just going, guys, let's add another super tank. Let's just get another super tank in the game. Why? The tanks are still super, right? Now, again, this is so much better than 5v5. It's so much better, I promise you. Because at least now the resources are now a little bit stripped, or they're spread out a bit more, so you're not just getting it's not like every single time you're fighting someone they're getting resource dumped because there's just not enough resources to do it. So the game feels better. However, that doesn't mean that the problems that 5v5 caused are not still present. Genuinely, I know I've said it, I cannot fucking fathom the idea of going, let's make 6v6, and you just bring over the 5v5 tanks, and you bring over the 5v5 supports. Why? What was the thought process behind doing that? I would just love, like, listen, I get it, devs are human beings, they're not perfect, obviously, right? And I'm not trying to badmouth them as people, I'm badmouthing them as devs, right? I'm sure they're great people, but they're fucking dog shit at balancing, and that's just the reality. I cannot genuinely believe someone sat down for this 6v6 release and said, guys, we got this big thing, we're announcing a 6v6 competitive season where they're going to get 6v6, it's going to happen in like 2 seasons time, and they're like, okay, what changes are we going to make? Let's start getting some changes, let's start making this thing, let's get some balance going, let's get some tests going, let's see, like, maybe we need to enter for the support system. They had 2 seasons to get into the nitty gritty and try and fix it, and they said, nah, fuck that, let's do absolutely nothing, let's change nothing, it's the same, just add an extra tank, bro. Just add an extra hero to it. That's 6v6, there you go. Oh, and also, by the way, we're keeping those horrendous Season 9 changes that everyone above Silver absolutely fucking despises because they're terrible for the game. Not only that, we're adding the perk system, we're adding all this other garbage from Overwatch 2. We're keeping the MOs, we're keeping all of it. We're keeping the hitbox changes. It's so good. Yes, Blizzard. That's what I wanted. When everyone was raving on about, hey, 6v6, and so on, people were not just talking about the format. That's not what people are talking about when they talk about 6v6. They talk about the idea of old Overwatch, what it was, what it meant to play that, right? The flow of the game, how resource trades went, how tank trades went, how the front lines would move around, how the back lines would coordinate with the front lines, how the setups would happen, how the pre-fights would happen, right? How the mid-fights would go down, how the end-fights would, how the cleanup would go down. That is what people want with 6v6, not just add another player, right? Now, I get it. Some people, and especially me, have not presented that argument fantastically. I have said in the past, just add the fucking extra tank and just do a couple of changes. And to be fair, they haven't even done that, so I'm still technically correct. But I get it. Some people have not articulated their ideas, me being one of them, that 6v6, the call for 6v6 is more than just adding an extra player. It's about actually returning to what we had. But it is what it is, so I'm playing only this, the 6v6 patch. It fucking sucks, it's terribly balanced, but it's infinitely better than 5v5, and I'm having fun playing it. Now, call me a negative Nancy because I'm not, like, gawking on Blizzard because they did the bare fucking it's literally the bare minimum, right? Like, let's just not get it twisted here. It is quite literally the bare fucking minimum. They just added another tank. That's literally all they did. They didn't even make a balance patch separate for 6v6. They did fuck all. And people are gonna be like, oh, well, you're just complaining. Dog, they literally couldn't have done less work. Genuinely. This is a custom game mode. They dropped the tank health a little bit and just fucking ship it. They had 2+ seasons knowing. They probably knew even before they announced it. Right, so let's say they had 3 or 4 seasons to know this was happening. They did fuck all, okay? Sorry, I just had to rant there. Because I know some people are going to be, you're such a complainer, you're such a complainer. Yeah, you're damn fucking right, I'm a complainer. You'd be complaining too if they did this to your game. Anyway, the balance patch sucked. The perk system's terrible. Season 9's terrible. The 6v6 is a vastly superior format, and I'm having a great time. And I'm thanking Blizzard wholeheartedly for the fact that they ate their pride, and they released a 6v6 patch. W Blizzard. W Blizzard. It's a shit patch, but it's welcome. I'll take it. I'm very pleased with 6v6, as you can tell by my complaining. Anyway, have a good day, guys. Play the 6v6 patch, and it might become permanent. Goodbye. Have a good day. Have a good day. Goodbye.